Hello everybody, happy January, happy 2025. That is crazy to say. It's 2025 and this video, as you can see, I'm going to be talking about all the books that I read in December. It was a bit of a shorter reading month for me because I had something called exams. Ruined my mood. No, it's okay. The exams were whatever, took a lot of my time, but I still wanted to talk about the books that I read. So welcome to my channel. My name's Sophia. I post some bookish videos, some crochet videos, everything crafty and creative, and also some regular vlogs. So welcome, and I hope you enjoy. In the month of December, I read 7 books. 2 of them were physical, 2 of them were ebook, and 3 of them were audiobook. If you see my eyes glancing down a bit, it is because I'm looking at my notes that I have right here on my computer. I did also DNF 2 books in the month of December, which were A Darker Shade of Magic by V.E. Schwab and Air by Saba Tahir. I didn't think that these books were bad. I did have them on audiobook from the library, and just with my schedule and how everything was going, I was not able to finish them before my loan thing, whatever it's called, my time that I had with audiobooks ran out. So I wasn't able to finish them, but also I wasn't so into them. I found A Darker Shade of Magic that the world was kind of a little bit hard for me to get into, and I think same with Air, because for me, I think audiobooks I struggle with seeing stuff in my mind and like with the world building and everything. So these ones I think I might have enjoyed more on a physical book. I might return to them, but for now I'm not going to. So anyways, those are my 2 DNFs. The first book that I actually read and finished was called Everyone This Christmas Has a Secret by Benjamin Stevenson. This I read as a physical book. It follows Ernest Cunningham, who was a detective. This is actually a series of detective mystery novels. It was fun. It was really short. It's set in Australia, so it's not your typical Christmas book. There's no snow or anything like that. But I thought the relationships were interesting. The mystery itself was interesting. Honestly, because I read this so long ago and had all my exams and everything, I can't honestly remember like who is the killer, because it's like a mystery like that. So I can't really remember so much about it, but I did end up giving it 4 stars. So if you wanted something a little bit Christmassy but also really hot and set in Australia, and it was just really fun. Like, it was a fun mystery, just like your classic mystery. Like, there was no frills. It wasn't trying to like deceive you, and I didn't see the plot twist coming, but I also think that's because there was a huge cast and there was a lot of different suspects, so I wasn't really quite able to keep track of all of them. But anyways, I did end up giving it 4 stars. So cute and fun, and yeah, I would recommend. The next book that I read is my favorite book of December, and one of my favorite books of the year actually. It is The Salt Grows Heavy by Cassandra Khaw. This I read as an ebook just on my phone from the library. It's shorter and it was so good. It follows a mermaid, but more of like a siren, but it's not, I don't really know the specific difference between them two, but it was like, it's not like a mermaid like Ariel. It's not like that. It's like a horror. It's like a horror mermaid, like really sharp teeth and really dark mood and everything. It is a very, very gory, some like surgery aspects and stuff like that. So if that's not something that you're into, I would caution away from this book. But it follows our main character, a mermaid. She has some flashbacks about her life, but mainly it follows her and this plague doctor that they meet and their adventures, one adventure together through a dark, wintry forest and the evil people that they meet. Some cultish elements as well, which I really enjoyed. It's a romance-ish, but more of like a friendship, like a, what is it called, platonic soulmates, but not really. But it was really nice, and obviously there's no like smut or anything. And they're traveling through a wintry forest, so it's dark and cold and gory and snowy, so it's perfect for winter time. This was really, really surprising for me because I read Black and Teeth by Cassandra Khaw, the same author, a few years ago, and I found that I didn't really like it. But now that I read this book, I might actually return to that because maybe I just like wasn't in the right headspace or something, because I really, really, really liked this one, especially the ending. It really sold it for me. So I might return to Black and Teeth. So yeah, this one was a 5-star read for me. I really liked it. I will definitely be returning to this and reading it again. I just loved the main character. I really felt for her, and the love interest as well. It was just so interesting, and I honestly have never read anything like it. I've never read any like dark mermaid horror, and I do want to get into reading some more horror, and if anyone has any recommendations that would be like this one, give it to me because I love this. The next one is an audiobook called The Grown Up by Gillian Flynn. She is the author of Gone Girl. This was very, very short. The audiobook is I think under an hour long because the physical book has only 63 pages. And in this book, it follows a woman who makes her living doing various scams-ish by like reading people's palms and various other like spiritual things that aren't, she doesn't believe in them. She's just kind of like making it up as she goes. And I can't find it now because I returned the book because it was such a long time ago, but the first line is so funny, or like the first paragraph or everything really just took me into it, hooked me in. And in the book, the main character agrees to meet with a woman named Susan at her old, creepy Victorian house for further cleansing after Susan comes into the shop, because Susan believes that the house is haunted or she has a ghost. The main character thinks that this is just another harmless fraud to make some quick, easy cash, but it turns into something a lot more devious, a lot more mysterious. I enjoyed this. It was fun, very quick, obviously, but the ending to me felt a little strange. There was twist and then another twist, and in such a short book, it felt like it wasn't really explored, and it was almost like a little bit too many twists, if I can say that. And I do wish that it was a little longer, but actually the physical ending itself, also like what happened, I was like, okay, like it was like strange, but then I liked it. Like it was just kind of not what I was expecting. It's definitely not the typical ending for your mystery or thriller suspense novel. It's not typical at all, but yeah, I enjoyed this one, and the audiobook was really good, so I recommend that. Even just like on your commute home, you can get this done in a day, so it was good. I ended up giving this one 4 stars. As you can see, there's a bit of a trend in December that I was reading a lot of very short books because I wanted to be able to read stuff that wouldn't get me into a reading slump because I had all my exams and stuff, so just something that I could read within a few days. Next, I had another audiobook called The Radium Girls, The Dark Story of America's Shining Women by Kate Moore. This is a true story, non-fiction book following the Radium Girls, which were women working in factories in the United States using radium, which caused them to, following years and years even after they had stopped working, develop a series of devastating health effects because radium is radioactive and it's not good for your body. And these women would be like painting and stuff and then licking the radium off of the brushes so they could get more precise. So that's not good for you at all. This book followed a really large amount of characters, which for me made it quite hard to follow and understand which character we were talking about. Also, for what the book was covering, I felt like it was really long. It followed specific women, but a lot of these specific women had very similar situations and cases, so I kind of just felt like it didn't need to follow so many different women. Like we could have stick to a few and then talked about like the society as a whole maybe a little bit more. Also, something that I read on Goodreads after I finished the book, which I did think, oh, that's true, was that the author consistently and multiple times describes how beautiful the women were, how men wanted to marry them so bad and stuff like that. And it was almost as if she was saying, not really, but it kind of leaned towards being like, because they were beautiful and attractive members of society, that made them less deserving of these health effects. So anyways, that's just something to keep in mind. It's definitely like a case of pretty privilege, which is a real thing, but in the book she was just like constantly talking about how beautiful they were, and I was just like, well, I don't know if this is like really that important for what we're talking about. Like anyone can suffer devastating health effects and it doesn't really matter what they looked like before, if you know what I mean. So yeah, I gave this one 3 stars. Yet another audiobook next. Audiobooks are so easy for me because I can read them while I'm driving to work, while I'm actually at work because I just work at an office, so I can listen to stuff while I'm just doing like paperwork and stuff. So I'm able to get through them a lot quicker than physical books. So all that to say, the next book that I read is called Everything is Effed. Everything is Freaked. I don't know if I can say this. A book about hope by Mark Manson. Audiobook, as I said. This is the same author as The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F. seems like he's kind of capitalizing on this F word in the title to get a little bit of a shock value from the readers. It's sort of a self-help book describing how bad the world is, but also how it's not so bad and trying to find the good. I can't really remember any of the messages in this, even though I read it less than a month ago. So for me, it's not a great read just because of that. I have read other self-help books, or like kind of books like this where I was able to remember it. This one's not one of them, so you know, the messages were not that obviously life-changing to me because I can't remember them. And also something that I saw in the Goodreads was that this is a little bit of a privileged stance, because basically what he's saying is to like not pay attention to the bad things in a way. I can't really remember it, so I might be butchering this, but it was kind of a little bit privileged because he was saying don't focus on the bad or whatever, but there's a lot of people that have serious issues and that can't just be ignored. And it was kind of, the book was kind of saying how the world isn't as bad as you think, but the world kind of is as bad as you think. There's multiple people who are starving to death every single day. You know, people are dying from their insurance not being covered and not having enough money for it. There's wars, there's genocides. So it's like, it's kind of is bad, but I think like this would be good if you actually like don't have big issues in your life, then what he's saying is true. But if you actually really have issues or maybe mental health conditions or stuff like that, then what he's saying can't really be applied. So 3 stars for that one. Not very life-changing for me. Next, I read another ebook, and I actually read this book while I was going to New York City for Christmas. I read it on the plane while I was there and also finished it afterwards, so this was a plane book for me. In this book, I found this book, and I found The Grown Up as well, when I was just searching on TikTok like short wintry reads, short reads and then winter books, and this one came up. So it's Feed Them Silence by Lee Mandello, an ebook. What I heard on TikTok, and I can't remember the creator, but it said like a woman is able to scientifically link her mind to a wolf and then everything goes wrong. It was just like one sentence. It was like kind of like the TikTok, so it's like why I read this book in one sentence. So that's what it said. In this book, yes, a scientist is able to link her mind to that of a wild wolf, which she names Kate, meaning that she can sort of go into like a thing like they do in Avatar, the movie by James Cameron, and she can like feel and see everything as if she was the wolf. So she basically, her mind goes into the mind of the wolves. The science wasn't really explained that much. It didn't need to be. It didn't take away from the book. But the project does end up having a terrible cost for, so Sean is the scientist, for Sean's relationship with her wife. So it is a bit of sapphic-ness going on, lesbian, damaging the relationship with her wife, damaging Sean's relationship with herself and her psyche and her health, and also damaging the future of the wolf. This book is described as a horror book. Personally, I don't think it was a horror. Maybe psychological thriller, but maybe just psychological, maybe no thriller, if you know what I mean. I think the relationship between Sean and her wife was really interesting and well developed, and it was nice to see a lesbian relationship that has issues and that they fight, because I find that sometimes these like lesbian or gay relationships can either be seen as like perfect or like gross, which obviously isn't right, but neither is perfect. You know, it's just a regular relationship that people have. So that was really nice, that relationship. It wasn't a great relationship, but anyways, it was a great representation, I felt. It was a very quick read. It was like 100 something pages, and I did find that the body descriptions, leaning towards body horror, but not body horror, it was just like the description of like sweat and feeling gross and feeling dirty and like smells of body, I thought was really, really well done. I really liked that aspect. Kind of made me go like, ooh, a little bit, which is good. It's a great experience. I like it when you can really like imagine the smell, or like, but even if it's like bad, you know what I mean? And yeah, Sean's mind, her personality, and why she did things, I found was really, really interesting, but I wasn't really able to fully like sympathize with Sean just because I didn't have the same experiences. Like Sean really wanted to like kind of like be a wolf. Like she always wanted to be in the mind of the wolf, and obviously that damaged the relationship, but I just couldn't really understand why, because I don't really want that for myself, so that was like just a little something. But and also this one is set in the winter mainly, so there's a lot of descriptions of the cold and the snow as well, so good, another good read for winter. Yeah, this one I ended up giving 3 stars just because it wasn't what I went into expecting. I was expecting a little bit of horror and like everything going wrong, and kind of everything did go wrong, but like not in a horror way. Like, I guess it's just, it is a very realistic book of what could happen, but yeah, it was good and I do recommend that one. And for the last book that I read in December is An Excellent Host by Chelsea G. Summers. This is the author of A Certain Hunger, which I actually haven't read, and I do want to read that one. This is a physical book. I bought it at the Strand, and it's actually a signed copy when I was in New York City, so that's really cool. It's very, very short. I think it's like under 100 pages. And this is like a mythical Greek retelling of the cult of women that surround Dionysus, the wine god. So there's a lot of wine in this book. It's interesting. It was really interesting. I thought the writing was amazing, but I do wish that it was a little longer because it did feel rushed to me because of how short it was. And I thought that the author, Chelsea Summers, had a lot that she could have written about. Like, sometimes when you read short stories, you think, I know why this is a short story. It's because it's not fully developed and they didn't have anything else that they could write about. This was not that case. I really felt like she could have made it longer, and I would have enjoyed this even if it was like a 200 or 300 page book. I would have liked spending more time with the characters, specifically the women who are in this cult or group, whatever you want to call it, because I think that would help me understand their motives as a reader for why are they doing this stuff, instead of them just like kind of you're appearing and you don't know why, they're just there. But I thought that would have been really interesting if I could have understood why did they form this group and like a little bit of their backstory as well. So that's my only complaint about this book, is that I wish it was longer because I do think that it was really good. So 4 stars for An Excellent Host. Okay, that is all the books that I read in December. I did want to talk briefly about my current reads, which is number 1, as always, Crescent City over there by Sarah J. Maas. Do want to preface that I'm seeing it a lot more on TikTok as well. I bought this book used. I know about the what's her name? Sarah J. Maas? Yeah, I know about the Sarah J. Maas stuff. But yes, I bought it used and I still would like to read it. I don't know. And I am listening to the podcast, as always, going along with it with Natalie, Jean, and Jackie Zabrowski, and I really like their dynamic, and the podcast is really interesting. It's like a book club almost. So I really like that one. And I am also on audiobook listening to The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang, my first R.F. Kuang book. I'm so excited for it. It is really good so far. I'm about halfway through. It's not really what I was expecting, but I think it will get only better from here because I think people have said that the ending is what really they love the most. So I'm really excited. This is a really long audiobook. I think I have about like 12 days left on my hold. Guess what also came available right now that I have on hold, that I have on loan or whatever from my like e-library at the same time, is whatever by R.F. Kuang. So I have that one and The Poppy War at the same time. I have, I think, maybe like 18 days or something on Babel, that I'm going to be listening to after, and that one is like 22 hours long and The Poppy War is 19, so I really need to finish The Poppy War so I can start Babel. And then I also have A Psalm for the Wild Built that is just about 4 hours, I think. I'm really excited to read that one too. So that one is in my Libby, my library. And then I also got this self-help book called Party for One, which I'm really excited to listen to that one. It's like how to have the best relationship with yourself. So those are all the books that I'm either currently reading or about to start, and you'll hear about them in my January wrap-up. And also soon I will be having a favorite books of the year posted to my channel, so if you're interested in that one, definitely go check it out. And thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed. This is a little bit of a shorter video because my long book videos don't really do too well, so I'm wondering if they're a little bit shorter and sweeter that people will like them more. But anyways, if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much. If you're new, thank you as well. Yeah, and more book videos on my channel and more to come. This is only my third reading wrap up of 2024. I just started in October, and let's hope that I post all 12 months in 2025. That's one of my goals. I'm just loving posting, even though not many people watch it. It's really fun for me, and I'm not really posting it because I want to get famous or anything, just for the people that are here and interested, and also just for myself because I find it really fun. So welcome to 2025, and I hope you'll enjoy what I post next. Bye. Thank you.